Billy Donovan discussing the development of Josh Giddey and just the balance between scoring and facilitating. Welcome back into Nothing But Net Aussie Hoops, presented by Amy Ryan Brockhoff here. And we are joined by a man that is very important to the early success of the Chicago Bulls, Damian Cotter. It is an absolute pleasure to see you, man. I've seen you a couple of times over the last week. It's been really fun to watch this team.
Yeah, it's thank you, and it's great to be back on. Yeah, it's been good bumping into you, Kane, and seeing the pop up and anywhere, and so I'll be ready for it going forward into the season. But it was good to see you, and yes, we're playing pretty well. We've had a very, very good start, and a lot of confidence around the building at the moment.
Yeah, well, you might see a little bit more of me because of the way Josh is playing. We'll get to that.
He's shaking his head. He's like, please.
I apologise. And this Bulls team that is winning games 6-1 as we have this chat right now. And one of the things I did mention to you the other day when we were in New York and you guys were 5-0 about how much the team actually has a chance to enjoy this. And you did quickly and rightly point out this is a very, very long season, but you have that crazy comeback win against the Sixers. And I am wondering what the feeling was like in the locker room. I know Josh said it was one of the best wins he's been a part of. Surely you have a chance in this long, long grind of a season to enjoy something like that.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you enjoy your successes because it is a long season and things can flip and teams scout. And I do feel this time of the year teams are still figuring out how their roster is going to work and what's the best sort of offensive and defensive schemes. So getting these wins, building confidence is really, really important, especially for a young team like ours.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, the confidence bit. It's very easy for a player to celebrate a win after the game. I'll tell you some stories later on, but
yes, please.
It must be different for an assistant coach or a coach in general. You finish a game, surely you're going straight to the computer, having a look at some film, thinking about the games coming next. You've got a million things. As a player, we just focus on the game and what's kind of coming up next. But you guys got to plan ahead. So what's your method after the game?
Well, I come, at home games, I come back over, I walk over the road and go to the practice facility and sit in my office, and I watch at least a half of what just transpired, and then I get home, try and get to bed and get up and have everything sorted for the coaches meeting. Try and come in with ideas to help improve the team, as all the other coaches do. And then there's always stuff to do, like this is an off day for us and it's 6 p.m. at night and I've still got plenty of work to do, but you guys give me a nice break to have a little chat with a couple of Aussies.
Well, you're too kind to say that,
yeah.
But it is the one thing, and I do think the workload, because rightfully so, Billy Donovan's the head coach and he's the face that everyone sees of the franchise, but the assistant coaches, man, this is the one thing I've learned, you've been in it.
Yeah.
The workload you guys have, and perhaps the role you have, I don't think a lot of people perhaps understand what that looks like. One guy I've seen you working with a lot is Ayo Dosunmu. So with the individual players that you work through, what does that entail on a game day leading into and then post?
Well, you're in charge for the players' development, and it's not just my show. We have a player development staff, but I'm responsible for 3 players. It's game preparation, it's game review, and it's skill development and just general player development. And sort of oversee those particular players' development. So I look after I look after Kevin Herter, and I look after Zach Collins. And Zach's been hurt. So today we put him through an on-court conditioning practice, and then we took him in and we watched film on particular facets of play to help his knowledge and keep building like that. So you got to be a little bit creative, and there's always stuff to do. And I have scouts, I have in-game responsibilities, and I have we all have our particular roles on staff, and they're the majority of mine. I also do an end-of-game defensive preparation on what teams will do. Like last night, what Philadelphia was going to do defensively coming out of an ATO in crunch time.
He's on the old 22-hour workday scheme out there in Chicago. Wow. Hey, Damian, so I mentioned Josh, and understandably, everyone back home in Australia is so excited with what he's been able to do to start the season. I'm more curious about the mentality of this guy because, being around, Billy Donovan has pointed to the fact that he is embracing the responsibility. He's embracing the leadership. What are some of the things that we perhaps don't see that Josh is bringing to the table at such a young age and seemingly grabbing this thing early in the season?
Well, you're right. He is certainly grabbing the opportunity. I haven't spoken to him about this, but it's sort of cool watching him enjoy playing. And he is a real hooper and a competitor, and he's trying really hard to do what coach wants. He made some great passes last night. He got into the teeth of the defense and did some nice spray outs. And notably the last one where he hit Vooch in the corner was a fantastic pass. But I'm enjoying just observing how much he's enjoying playing, and it looks like he's settled in with Chicago. The fans love him, and if he keeps bringing those sorts of performances, it's just exciting for everybody.
Is that part of the reason why, I guess, you guys have gotten off to such a strong start? And maybe compared to years past, it seemed like it was a grind from the beginning of the season. Right now, you're playing up-tempo, you're having fun. As I said, Josh is playing with all the confidence in the world, but it's contagious within the group. It seems like this team enjoys playing together. They like the similar styles that they all bring and how it works together. Is that part of the reason for such a great comeback, obviously, against Philly, but just the general start to the season?
Well, if you look at our box score, Ryan, we've had many, many games where we've had 7 or 8 guys in double figures. I saw some record today where we've, in the Bulls franchise history, that we've had multiple games. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I think the fact that not just Josh, everybody's willing to share the ball. Last night was a game of 2 halves. We didn't do the things in the first half that's required of us to have success. And to the team's credit, they were challenged at halftime by coach, and they responded really well and had that, fantastic comeback. But we're sharing the ball. We're trying to put our nose in plays, be more physical than what we've been in years gone by. The guys have really embraced that challenge. So we've got a really selfless mindset in the gym at the moment, and it's a really good environment to be part of.
Yeah, you're working. For us, just sitting back, it is very fun to watch, Damian, and it's been great to see you on the sidelines there for this team. And I mentioned your resume off the top. One of the great coaching resumes in Australian basketball, and perhaps still your biggest achievement was wrangling a young Ryan Brock off with those Australian teams. Damo, always good to see you, mate.
I know. I'm surprised he's still talking to me. So.
Thank you, mate.
All right. Always a pleasure, fellas.
All right. Here's the overall comparison in the numbers with Josh. Now, this season he has started as he finished off last year, very similar to what we saw post-All-Star break when the Bulls really leaned into this youth movement that we are now seeing. And the outside shot,